Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Community Connections. I am your host, Anna Orr, and this is airing right here on OROMIA11. Today we are talking about a food pantry located in North Minneapolis, serving the community some delicious food, but also some very necessary resources. This is going to be an episode you won't want to miss. Lakeisha, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
We are talking about something really important here across the globe, actually. Food scarcity is an issue for everyone. And so it's important to me to have you here to just talk about resources for people in the community as well as viewers to make sure that they are not going home hungry.
Right.
Or going weeks hungry, should I say, with their families.
Right.
For those unfamiliar, can you please introduce yourself and the organization you are here on behalf of?
I am Lakeisha Harrington, and I am a member of the Greater Mount Vernon Missionary Baptist Church, where John L. Bowen Sr. is pastor.
Wonderful. And you work with the food pantry, correct?
Yes, I do.
How long have you been doing that work?
I've been doing it for about a year now.
Okay. And what drew you to the food pantry? What's been going on that had you eager to want to serve in that way?
You know, it all started with honestly just going to Bible study.
Okay.
So at that time, I didn't really know what they were doing earlier in the morning before Bible study. So when I got there, they're like, oh, we have a food truck coming for the food pantry. So, and just from that, it's like, okay, well, this is something that's here to help serve my people, my community, and even myself if need be. Why shouldn't I be a part of this?
I think that's wonderful. Can you talk to us about the unique distribution system you all have going on at Greater Mount Vernon? You all have a mobile food pantry, correct? Where you are able to do curbside pickup to get your groceries.
Yes.
Where you won't have to encounter people or find yourself maybe in close proximity during cold and flu and COVID.
Well, they do have an opportunity to, come down into the church and pick up their groceries, their foods. But we do also, like I said, offer some curbside assistance to, some of those that can't make it into the church and down the stairs, so our elderly, our disabled. So we just want to make sure that we can reach out to everyone, that no one's not limited for whatever reason, to get food.
I think that's important. So for those of you that are watching that deal with any type of mobility issue, please know that this is a place that will provide you the access you need, and you won't find yourself having to put any strain on your body.
Exactly.
To get what you need.
Yes, we will.
I think that's a really huge gift. How long has Greater Mount Vernon been doing the food shelf, in North Minneapolis?
We've been doing it for about 2+ years.
Okay. So literally around the time of COVID, you guys started providing food to your community.
Yes. Once COVID hit, the church recognized the need that people had. During COVID, so many people lost jobs, housings. So, and the price of everything just went sky high. So it made it difficult for people to get the basic necessities to even have one meal a day. So we thought, this is what we need to do as a church for our community.
I think it's really important for those that are unfamiliar with North Minneapolis. North Minneapolis is a food desert, is what is listed as a national food desert. Listed in one of the many areas that is a food desert, which means that we don't have access to fresh fruit and produce in close proximity.
Correct.
We have a lot more convenience stores and hole-in-the-wall food joints. You can get food, but we don't have a lot of consistent grocery stores or chain grocery stores, larger Cub Foods or maybe Whole Foods, Lund's and Byerly's closer in the area of North Minneapolis. You have to travel further out of your community to get food that in other communities is very accessible.
Yes.
So providing this is really a gift to the community. On top of this time of transition, where we know people who have survived COVID and sheltering in place have usually been cohabitating. So we talked about the cost of everything being so much more expensive. Not too long ago they were saying the interest rate was 8-something%, now it's 9.3%.
Yes.
And I'm like, for people that were already living on a very tight budget or maybe trying to watch their pennies, this could really put them in dire straits.
And it really
not have access.
did after COVID. I mean, just think, even just the price of toilet paper and eggs went up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we were paying almost, some places, $9 for a carton of eggs. And we should not have to be in the store making almost life and death decisions on buying groceries for our families.
Now, you talked about Pastor Bowen coming up with this idea to serve the community. Can you talk a little bit more about the specific mission and vision for this execution of the food pantry? I know it seems so simple to provide people with food, but I know that in reading the website, there was so much more included in that, and I would love to just share a little bit about that with the public.
Yeah, we just want to make sure that the people in our community have access, like you said, to those fresh produce and meats and milks and eggs, without putting that strain on the household. So with our food shelf, we try to make sure we provide a whole meal. So you're going to get your vegetables, your meats, your grains, your dairies. We try to make sure we give you something healthy that your family needs. And it's just been a blessing. Since I've been there, I've watched it grow from maybe 50 people to a week to 100 plus a week. And as a church, we wanted to strive to even do more for our community, in this time of need.
I think that's beautiful. Can you talk to me about, are there any community partners that you guys have? You guys are at a very central location. For those that are unfamiliar, can you give us the address of the church?
We are located at 1800 DuPont Avenue North.
Okay. So you guys are at the intersection literally just before a Cub, across from Ascension and so many other things, but there are so many residential areas over there.
Yes.
Are you guys able to work with community partners, other organizations or other churches to kind of generate food, or how do you all break down the service?
Right now, we are not partnered with anyone or any organizations.
Okay.
We really just order from an organization called the Food Group, and that's where we purchase our food from. And lucky enough, we are lucky to get donations from them from time to time. So we do get an abundance of vegetables, fruits, things like that. And it has helped, stretch things a lot longer than maybe if we didn't get those. Because sometimes when we go on the website to purchase food, we don't have a lot to pick from. So just getting those donations from them helps things go a lot longer.
Are you all able to support people that have dietary restrictions? So if it's gluten-free or vegan or halal, are you all able to support that at this time?
Well, at this time, what we do is when we have them come in, we give them the option of what they want. So based on their dietary restrictions, they can pick from what they want. So, we might have a vegetarian, so they don't want the bag of meat.
Right.
So they might just get a few more vegetables and fruits in their bags. So right now, that's how we're doing it.
I love hearing that you all are supplementing the things that people won't eat for something else versus you just go without. You leave with less than something.
Right.
Because at your family side, you may still find yourself needing something that's going to stick to the ribs. We live in Minnesota, which is a cold climate state, even though it's not currently. And I often think you need something that's going to stick to your ribs as you kind of push through the workday or school. And it's like, if I'm going to the grocery store and I only have this amount of money and I'm able to get maybe 5 things.
Right.
If I go to the food shelf and they say we have 10 things, but 3 of those things are meat. And then you say, well, I don't want the meat, and you end up with less than what you planned on for your week or your budget, whatever it is. I think that's really beautiful that you guys have found a way to kind of bridge that gap for others. Let's talk a little bit about you all being one of the active food shelves in North Minneapolis during this time. I had spoken to 2 directors of different food food pantries in the state a couple weeks ago, and they both were saying that they are down to the brass tacks, that they don't have much food. They find themselves keep running out, which means that you all are serving more people.
We are.
Because more people are finding themselves hungry or harder to get to a meal consistently.
Yes, and we are in that same predicament. You know, like you said, we order from the food group, but sometimes there's not a lot to choose from, so we're very limited on what we can give our family. Some weeks we can give them 2 meats, but then there might be another week where they can only get 1 meat. So it's very disheartening, you know, when they come down and you're like, oh, we're out of meat, we're out of eggs, because it's just not there for us to give to them.
What's the one thing, Lakeisha, that keeps you coming back every week to provide this service to your community?
That our community members are so grateful for everything or whatever we do provide for them. And it's opened up the door. A lot of them want to come in to even help volunteer. We get our food deliveries on Wednesdays. So if you need help with the food truck, let me know. I'll come do this. Or they'll help translate for us, because we do have a lot of Spanish-speaking families. So they're happy to be there with us. And that just, how can that not warm your heart and make you want to keep coming back to do it?
Talk to me about how we support the work of the Greater Mount Vernon Food Pantry.
Well, right now, I think as far as supporting the food pantry, we would appreciate if you know, we get some donations.
Okay.
And because like I said, sometimes we're very limited on what we can purchase, but we are not against donations. You know, we have, especially when it comes to even like hygiene products, we have a lot of families that are in need of diapers for their little ones.
Of course. Diapers are so expensive.
They're so expensive.
I don't think people realize that. I don't have any children, but I'm a godparent and an auntie, so I purchased a lot of diapers, and I'm like, it's very expensive. Parents that have multiple kids in diapers, I don't know how they're doing it.
Yes, and it's even worse when you know you've lost that income due to COVID. So it's like they're leaning on the community to help them in their time of need, and we definitely want to be there for them to do that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You talked about having translators. You all are supporting the Latino population right now.
We are.
But do you guys have a need for any other translators or people that could probably provide their services in other ways to the food pantry?
As far as translators, right now, we always in need of a Spanish-speaking translator, because we don't have one every week that we do this. So we do the best that we can. A lot of us have the translator app on our phones, so we speak it to it and they read it back. And so we've learned to communicate with them that way. But so far, I haven't noticed myself a need for any other translator other than Spanish.
Okay. I want to make sure that we are covering our bases. I know that we have such a diverse population over north. A lot of people don't believe it, but we do. We have a wonderful East African population, Laotian, Hmong. We got a little bit of everybody all around.
A little bit of everybody.
So I just figured we've got to try and service as many as we can.
Yep, and as people come in, as different nationalities come in, you know, we welcome everyone. And if you come in, if we need to get a translator for that, we're going to do our best to make sure that there's not so much of a language gap between us, if, like I said, using the translator app or having someone there that can actually translate.
I think that's important to try and meet the need of the people, but also I think it really lends itself to the ideology that you guys are meeting the needs of the people and being the hands and feet. So it's wonderful to hear about and to encounter. Now you guys just wrapped up a toy drive, correct?
Yes, we did.
For culturally, what was it? Culturally competent dolls, right?
Yes.
That look like you and I, that may look different than you and I, that represent the wonderful, wonderful blend of our beautiful state of Minnesota.
Yes.
Can you talk just a little bit about that?
You know, growing up as an African American girl, you always didn't get a doll that looked like you. And maybe back then we didn't think about, well, why don't the dolls look like me? But you know, as we start to evolve more and our kids learn more, so they want toys that represent their culture and look like them.
That's true.
So we wanted to be able to, you know, provide that to any little girl or boy that's out there that wants something that represents them.
I think that's so beautiful for Greater Mount Vernon to take on that initiative to not only say that we want these kind of dolls, which I have not heard before, but specifically from a church group, let me specify that. But I think it's beautiful to help kids with identity and to see themselves reflected. We all know that representation matters.
Right.
And it's hard to see yourself as beautiful or handsome when that's not reflected.
Right,
in
and we
toys you play with, in the media you consume, in the music
and
we
we
listen to.
definitely want our young children to know that no matter what color you are, we're all beautiful.
Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. We are winding down our time together, but I have a few more questions for you, Lakeisha. Do you guys, is Greater Mount Vernon on social media? And if so, do you know which social media channels they are?
We are on Facebook, and it's Greater Mount Vernon MBC.
Okay, wonderful. Lakeisha, can you provide me with the website, the phone number, and any other physical address that you can in regards to ways that people can stay connected with Greater Mount Vernon?
Yep, our church website is gmvchurch.com. You can also find us on Facebook at Greater Mount Vernon MBC. Once you go to the website, it gives you just a nice guide of what you may need, where you want to go. Of course, our hours of operation, and if you're in need, look us up. Come pay us a visit. We are here for you.
Can you please share the hours of operation for viewers that are interested in probably coming to spend some time with you guys in the next week or so?
Our food shelf is open every Saturday from 11:15 a.m. to about 12:31 p.m. But if we have to extend the hours, we do not want to turn anybody away. So if you come after those hours and you express you are in need of food, we are going to graciously provide you with that.
The last thing I want you to do for me, Lakeisha, is just to look in this camera here and just talk to somebody that may be dealing with a time of transition or financial difficulty, and they know that they probably need to be going to a food shelf to help supplement their income, but feel fear or embarrassment. Can you kind of encourage them?
You know, myself, when I was younger, I went through the whole thing of losing my job, losing my housing, having to stay at a shelter. And then once I got into that, my new place, you know, I felt embarrassed that I might have to go to a food shelf to feed my family. But as time gone on, we have to learn that we have to set our pride aside and do what's right for our children. If that means going to the food shelf, there's nothing wrong with needing help. And we are here to let everybody know that we're not going to judge you for needing help. We're not looking down on you for needing help, because we all been there. And we're here to help uplift you, make sure you have what you need. If there's any other resources that you may be looking for, we are more than welcome to look into anything for you, whether it be maybe you need some housing links, some job leads. We do our best to help any of our people that come in looking for help.
I think that's so wonderful. Thank you so much for that note, Lakeisha.
Well, thank
and
you
thank
so
you
much
for joining me on this episode of Community Connections. It is important for me to consistently share with viewers points of opportunity for them to connect in their own backyards, but also maybe in someone else's if it can help them get a little bit further than where they were last time. So it was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. A very special thank you to Lakeisha Harrington and the amazing team at Greater Mount Vernon Missionary Baptist Church for serving their community and coming in to talk to me about the very necessary issue that so many are facing, food scarcity. If you have heard something that you know can benefit you or someone in your network, please use all the contact information that Lakeisha shared earlier in the episode to stay connected with them. Please be aware that COVID is still alive and well, and numbers are beginning to rise on a very quick level. For those that are maybe immunocompromised and or elders, please make sure that you are doing your best to protect them and keep them safe. If you are joining Lakeisha and the rest of the team at Greater Mount Vernon at the food pantry, be sure to wear a mask if you are feeling ill, stay 6 feet apart from those ahead of you or behind you in line, or maybe call in so that you can pick up your groceries from the curbside pickup. But we want you to be well, to take care of yourselves, receive your boosters if you believe in such, and to also wash your hands. That is the best way to kill any virus that is going around. We want you to be around for the new year. Have a good day and have a wonderful holiday season.